What's going on is Anton from AntonDaniels.com. I appreciate you guys for continuing to rock with me. I've been monitoring the Deion Sanders comments, both on Twitter, Instagram, and on videos on YouTube to see what the sentiment is of the people when it comes to their opinion on Deion Sanders, right? And him leaving Jackson State, the HBCU, as the head of the football program, and then joining Colorado, right? Now, let me give you a little bit of details for those of you that have been living under a rock. So he is a winning coach at Jackson State, again, which is an HBCU. That is an important detail. And he makes about $300,000 a year now. Somebody told me yesterday in my comments when I was doing a breakdown of it that he donates half of his salary, and I'm not sure where he donates it to, but he donates half of his salary, right? The other part of the story is that he's transitioned from making $300,000 a year to the equivalent of $5 to $6 million a year, with a guaranteed, partially guaranteed, depending on if he was to leave or not, then he would have to pay a penalty as a result of it, but a partially guaranteed contract of roughly $30 million. Now, there's a crabs in a barrel mentality, and it always will be, specifically among black people. And I don't see this, right? And I talked to people yesterday specifically. Like, I tapped into my friends from all different cultures, Indian, Asian, white people, a bunch of different cultures. And I wanted to get the sentiment before I did this video. And that does not happen amongst other cultures. When you level up, when you win, when you become more successful, when you make more money, it is celebrated, it's congratulated, it's championed. It's people that then not only champion it, but then they want to push you even harder because they understand that your success is their success, and there's no shortage of success, and that you becoming successful doesn't affect them or hurt them at all. Actually, it could possibly help them, right? It creates a narrative, it breaks a barrier. Also, on top of that, when you attach yourself to certain people like that are successful, you ultimately become promoted as well, right? And so what I see happening here is an age-old story within the black community and black culture, right? Which is one of the reasons why I say the things that we celebrate the most is trash, or the things that outrage us or, pushes us the most is trash. Now, everybody was cool with Coach Prime as long as he was doing what they wanted to do, as long as he lived in their box. His options were limited, and nobody can understand or even looking to understand his vision for his own life, his own family. And nobody even asked him or was inquiring about whether or not, what it was that he was doing, what his interests were. The only thing that they cared about is having him live in his box. And it's happening with every single person that I've ever known to be successful. Every single person that I've ever known to be successful. The minute that you become more successful, unless you're a ball player of some sort, football, basketball, or you're an entertainer, such as a rapper, the minute that you become more successful, and even in those situations and circumstances, if you transition over from being an entertainer or a court jester, right? And then you become more articulate and you open up certain businesses and you become successful, or you align yourself with certain brands and all that other type of stuff, then you are a quote unquote sellout. What is a sellout? I'm just curious. What is a sellout? Is a sellout a person that becomes more successful? Because a lot of people will tell you that a sellout is a person that then walks away from their own community in order to continue to champion and get a bag. How was that being a sellout to go and get more money for my family or for the people that I love and celebrate the most, and to be able to contribute and add value as far as dollars into what it is that we doing as a community, versus continuing to stay in the same old that is not adding any value to anybody? How is that a sellout? You know who the real sellouts, in my opinion, are? It's the dope dealers and the drug dealers that we champion so much, that then poison our community, and they come up on the backs of poor people, right? And then what they do is they allocate monies to be able to contribute to the penal system and to all of these lawyers that's not even black. And then they go to jail when they come back and they give turkeys to the community as a thank you gift for coming up on the addiction of the people that they care for the most. These people will sell coke and dope and meth and fentanyl to their own mothers if it comes with profitability. It's how you do it. Why aren't we championing Deion Sanders for leveling up? The biggest conversation that happens in football as far as black people is people like Stephen A. Smith and Jalen Rose and all of these people championing the idea that there needs to be more black coaches that are being promoted and elevated. And so when one starts to do it, but he did it the right way, he came up through the ranks of actually, helping and pushing and promoting and all of the growth that's happened over to Jackson State as a result of Deion Sanders. That football program in general is much more visible because, in my opinion, wasn't nobody checking for Jackson State as far as I was concerned because, it's probably people that were checking for Jackson State that was in that sphere, but definitely not on a national level and all of that other type of stuff. It certainly was not on my radar. I wasn't checking for Jackson State. Now I am. The sellouts is the people that say that, these HBCUs and all of these programs are so awesome in these places, and there's more black people that are successful that come from HBCUs than any other institution, and why don't they have an endowment? Why aren't they successful? How come they're not giving back to their communities in the form of donating to the school? How come there aren't wings that are being built as a result of alumni that are super successful that then come back and then give back to the community or give back to the program? How come all of these other institutions have such a large alumni that is dedicated and rabid fans, but then at the same time you sit over here and you look at these HBCUs and you don't even love or support your own, but then you finally have somebody to come in, transform the program, but no, he got to be stepdaddy to your kids because, man, come on, man, get on out of here with that. We need to get rid of this crabs in a bucket mentality as far as trying to pull people down. The dude is God-fearing. The first thing that he did at the Colorado press conference was thank God and all this other type of stuff. What more do you want from one man? One man can't save your community. And more importantly, you are not doing your community any justice by then pulling down anybody else that becomes successful, because then they don't even want to be associated with you anymore. And they don't even want to be associated with a community that's always trying to kill them and pull them down. I just don't see it in other communities. Maybe you see it, maybe you're familiar with it. I'm unfamiliar with when this happens to other communities. It only happens here. And I'm starting to think that a certain group of people is cursed. Not me. I'm not cursed. I broke that generational curse. I'm not on that. I've divested myself against anything and anyone that is preventing me from continuing to grow. And I don't care what you look like. I'm aligning myself with good people, with good spirit. And if they just so happen to be black, that's dope. But I'm not gonna let anybody stop my growth, and neither should Deion Sanders. Let me know what y'all think in the comments. Do you think that it was important for him to be able to level up, or do you think that he should have stayed at Jackson State? Make sure you tap into the Patreon. Link is in the description as well as pinned to the top of the chat. There's some phenomenal things going in the Patreon. And then also, if you need to kick it with me personally, you want coaching, you want to tap in with a Zoom session, email me at antondaniels413@gmail.com. And I'm going to make sure that I get you popping, all right? I love you. I appreciate you. Make sure you hit a like for the YouTube algorithm. Subscribe to the channel and turn on your notifications. I'm going to holler at y'all later. Peace.